before the break, everyone's weather is about to improve because Ginger Z, our dear friend, is our guest today. You know, Ginger is so much more than the person who welcomes you to your day and your weather on GMA. She's a New York Times best-selling author and well-deserved. She never saw herself in this role. She came to it with her frankness and her sense of humor, and her first book, New York Times bestseller, as I said, Natural Disaster, was not a disaster for people. It really helped many people. And she continues the conversation now and brings us a little closer to home, which is the name of the book. You guys all know her as the meteorologist, of course, at ABC News. Please welcome back our sweet friend, Ginger Z. Hi, Ginger.
Hello, Rachel. I'm so glad. I'm going to bring the sunshine, the storms, and everything in between. That's the beauty of it.
You do. And that's what I wanted to say to you. As a reader of your work, you do bring everything, the sunshine and the storms, but it's a very positive reflection. And it is such an important conversation that the country is having nationally now about dealing with mental illness and mental challenges. And it's so cool the way you do it. You do it with a real, you have a unique voice and you add humor to it. You're a very gifted writer, and congratulations to you. Why now with this book, and why did you feel prompted to do the follow-up for folks?
So I would have never thought of myself as a writer. I had labeled myself not a writer and just a scientist, and I loved math, and that's kind of how I grew into it. But when I wrote Natural Disaster, which has a long story of why I wrote it, I was shocked by the reaction. The number of people that wrote me and said everything to "you saved my life." I mean, people said, you know, you were my therapy, or you brought me some sunshine, and wow, I had no idea we had so much in common. That meant a lot. But what they told me in the end of those emails was the tools you gave me really helped. And so I thought, well, I'll write another book about tools. But as I'm writing about what I've learned over the last decade of intense therapy, I realize as I hear the women of the Me Too movement shed their shame as they're talking about their assaults, I thought, well, there's part of my life that I have not shared. And a big part of that is digging into trauma. So I have to dig into trauma in this book. But most importantly, it is not just about the healing, but the hard work of healing that kind of never ends, and a very sunshiny look at that, because it's something we have the opportunity to do and the opportunity to grow through together.
But that's it. That's what's so terrific about it, is every chapter, no one's life is identical to another's, but there's so much that's accessible to people, and it gives you real hope. I don't want people to think that this is a book about self-pity or wearing your life on your sleeve. It's not. It's an affirmation. It's a rise up, and you got this, and everybody can relate to this. I mean, it's just a beautiful piece of work.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I think important there is too that not only you can do it, but you deserve it. And that's probably the underlying part that I hope comes out as well. And I wasn't ready to hear that for myself, nor did I know how. And so in this book, we go through the how. How do you know that you deserve it? How do you get the help so that you can get your brain and your life and just your illness to a place where you not just manage, but thrive? And that's what's exciting about where I've gotten with all of this hard work. I talk about
you can overcome that illness to the point that it doesn't affect your day-to-day life. You know, that you can carry on and be healthy and strong. You just need to stay on top of yourself and keep that positive sense. I deserve a life too. I deserve something good for me too. I love that you brought that up. It's such a great message for everyone, and it's so important right now. Stephanie, our beautiful producer who's been working with you, she really wants you to talk about Renee.
Yes. So Renee is my middle name. And much like so many people, I mean, Beyonce says it, and I'm not trying to say I'm like Beyonce, believe me. But she has Beyonce, and then she has Sasha Fierce. She always feels kind of these two parts of herself. Now, she's a global sensation, so let's take it down a notch. But when I was young, I always felt there was the ginger part of me, which is named after the movie star.
Gilligan's Island, yep.
and very much the character that I think I genuinely am inside. But then there was Renee, and that was my middle name. And it was really like a sullen 6-year-old that, certainly had seeds of depression early, but then environmental contributions kind of exacerbated that. And I always felt this internal battle between these identities. And it really hasn't been until I went and got a real diagnosis and really great therapy that I was able to fuse those identities. And that is where I feel like a fuse box that's finally been reset and turned on and ready to light. And I think that's something important that people need to know too.
I love that. The fuse box. Everybody deserves and can build a fuse box for themselves. I love the conversation that the book makes with the reader. It's fantastic. Of course, you dedicated the book to your husband, who we adore. He's one of our favorites of all time. He brings so much fun. I can't even think about him without smiling. Yeah. He's such positive energy in every way. Two beautiful babies, two beautiful boys. You have not babies anymore. I mean,
I know, they're so big.
A 6-year-old would not like that at all. That's practically a grown-up. And an almost 4, these are big boys.
Yeah. They're big. I love that. And that was when we were at Bear Mountain and we went hiking. And by hiking, Miles sat on my shoulders for the entire time. But it was, between Ben and the boys, they are such purpose and light. I'm so grateful for them. But I've had such a good time laughing lately, especially as Miles grows older. But Adrian's coming into beyond personality. So he was with Ben the other day and they were at tennis practice. And Ben was telling him about when he used to play tennis and all the buddies he used to have. And he goes, "Dad, it's like your life used to be fun." I was like, that's it. You are your father. Like, we are creating another one.
Oh my God, that is, and it so sounds like his dad. Oh my God. Do you hear yourself in your boys? Do you hear echoes of you?
Yeah. Yes, and that's a study of therapy right there. I mean, and also it's released a lot of what I was worried about that my parents did, because my son, the 6-year-old, is like a born perfectionist. I thought that I came to that place, but I was born apparently a regular perfectionist and then just worked on becoming executive level, and that's what I had to work on. So his empathy and people pleasing is beautiful, but it's also something that hopefully I can help coach into a healthier place than where I took it.
Hey, can I ask you something? I mean, you can see we're here. Thank God. Thank God. Our house is rebuilt. We're back in it. And we are doing a split time thing. We have a little bit of time in the studio and a little more time here. And once in a while, Bella, because of weather or the school's closed or something, the dog runs through. Or often, the dryer goes off, or the doorbell rings, or people are bringing deliveries, while we're filming. What's it like for you when you work from home? I mean, you have a crazy crew in that room.
As you're saying this, hold on. Look at that guy just sitting there. Like, that's Bruce. We adopted him during the pandemic. He usually makes some sort of run through, jumps on me or whatever. Then I would say, I was in the middle of an interview and the sewer pump has an alarm on it. Who knew? And it was just like something you can't ignore. And it was just this blaring, like, wah, wah. It's like, well, welcome to my house and the real world, because this is home ownership. So yes,
I think sewer alarm. We had an alarm too the other day, but it was because the battery needed changing, but you needed like a 20-foot ladder to get to where they put the thing, and we couldn't find a ladder tall enough. John's like, I don't know what to do. Running around like a whirling dervish. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, we had to call for reinforcements to bring the ladder tall enough to change the battery in the thing. Our friend Rob came and helped us. But that's what I think people love about you and will love about the book itself, is that it's so relatable, and everybody's going to feel better for reading it. Again, this is not heavy, this is uplifting, and you're going to relate to it. Congratulations, my friend. I'm so happy to know you, proud to call you friend, and congratulations on the book. It's really beautiful work.
Thank you so much for the thoughtful interview. I love that you read it and it feels like we have that connection. And I hope that that's the community we can all create because we're all in the same storm right now, being the pandemic. So I hope that in this storm, we can all see that it is temporary, even though it's a big one. It's like a Cat 5 storm. But it
is. It's Cat 5. It goes on and on. I got to tell you, the book is available now. It's a great read, and you don't even have to leave your house or go out in any weather to get it. She will bring you a little closer to home in your own home. Grab a snack, guys, and we'll be right back. Thank you, Ginger. We love you.
Thank you, Rachel.